Good morning. This is Richard Peter here in Dallas, Texas. My toll-free telephone number is 1-877-365-0042. I'm going to institute a new little exercise here. Now, there are some people who are saying that they like everything that I say, but they don't like my references to Jesus or to religion. First of all, I am not a religious person. I don't approach truth from a religious angle, rules and regulations, do's and don'ts. But just as in the physical world there's the law of gravity, in the mathematical world there's the law of 2 times 2 equals 4, in the spiritual world there are certain universal principles that rise far above religion as is traditionally being taught. And elsewhere, if you look for me on the internet, you'll see that I've identified 13 spiritual laws, not 10 commandments that have to be obeyed or a particular man, whether it's Jesus or Moses or Muhammad or Buddha or whoever it may be. What I am asking you not to worship, but to understand these 13 spiritual principles, and perhaps we'll get into them a little bit later on. But I'm going to be commenting on some political matters today. But before I do, I'm going to close my eyes for a moment, and I'm going to get in touch within myself, within my consciousness, with the being that created starlight. Now let me repeat that. You did not create your head, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, your hands, your digestive organs, the heart that beats you. You were given that as a gift by someone or something. It formed itself from the inside of you and now out pictures as your body. Now, most of you, after you got born, thought that's the end of it. Here I am, popped out of my mama's womb. I'm in my body now. I don't know what to do with it. I don't have any idea of what spiritual principles are. I know I got to eat 2 or 3 times a day and drink plenty of water and eliminate poison from my body, but I really don't know what to do with it. It just sort of popped out and here I am. Well, let me tell you, the being that created starlight is the being that popped out your body, and you need to take about 30 seconds to listen to what this being has to say about solving America's economic crisis, and then it will be solved. So in that sense, you could call me a spiritual teacher, but certainly not a religious teacher in the sense that I'm trying to force Jesus, Muhammad, Moses, or any other person down your throat. What I'm trying to get you to do is to open your consciousness, folks, and to allow the God that created starlight and the God that formed your bodies to come out and give us some practical day-to-day advice about how we got here into this economic crisis and how we can get out of it. Nobody takes any time to listen to God. They listen to their little inner circle of advisors, but they don't take time to listen to the God who made their nose, their eyes, their mouth, their heart, the legs that they walk on. Those were given as a gift. Now it's time for you all to know that the giver lives on the inside of you, and it's time for you to connect with him. That's the most important lesson today. For those of you who care to have some private instruction on the other 12 spiritual principles, there are 13 of them, that the giver of life has shared with me, and I'll be happy to share them with you if you ask, if you want it bad enough. It's a cup of cold water that will give you health to your soul and to your body. If you want it, call me and I'll be happy to discuss them with you or to direct you on the internet where they're located. I'm not trying to convert you to a particular God or to a particular version of God, Jesus, Muhammad, Moses, any of them, Buddha. They're all great prophets, but they all serve the God who created starlight, who lives on the inside of you. Now, by the way, because he does, or this being does live on the inside of you, governments are instituted as your play toy. You know how a baby sometimes gets tired of playing with a toy, it kicks it off to the side. Anytime the government ceases to be a good play toy for you, ceases to play fair with you, kick it to the side. You're a giant baby boy or a giant baby girl. Your father and mother is God, the father and mother of the creator of starlight. That is the God that created and gave you your gift of life and does everything else for you, including keep your heart beating. And that's true of every religion, every race, every creed, not just Christians, Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, Roman Catholic, whatever it may be. That's true of everybody on the face of the planet. So I'm going to follow my own advice now, and I'm going to get quiet, and I want you to get quiet with me for about 30 seconds. And we're going to allow the being that created us, that gave us the gift of our lives and gave us the gift of our minds and our bodies, I'm going to let him speak to me silently for a moment. You let him speak to you, and then he's going to talk through me about what's been happening on Meet the Press today and George Stephanopoulos' show. Let's be silent before your Father and my Father, your God and my God. wow, has he got some information today. First of all, he said, look, we already own, the word nationalization of banks may frighten you, but frankly, the taxpayer is the majority of stockholder now. And if we give them $2 trillion more, which I think is going to be a sin against humanity to give them the $2 trillion more that they want, Obama needs to have his head examined if he follows that advice. We now own these banks. We're now majority shareholders in most of these banks. These banks have toxic assets, meaning bad loans, okay? Now they want us to put in $2 trillion more to pay off their bad decisions. My answer is hell no. We need to take these banks over temporarily for about a year. We need to fire everybody from the president of these banks all the way down. We need to fire them. And we need to go in and have the FDIC go in, lock the doors, except for the fact that people can get deposits out and do business, but lock the doors as far as making any new loans. And we need to clean these assets out before we do anything further. And we're not going to buy these assets. We're simply going to segregate them and put them aside, and we're going to seize them in the sense that we own them now. We've already paid for them by the trillions of dollars we put into the banking system. They're ours now. We need to go in, clean it out, get all the poison out of the blood. Are you listening to me? We need to fire the chief executives and the board of directors of all these companies. Now, there's one negative here, and the negative is that the shareholders in these banks are going to lose everything. And I'm sorry for that. It's a tragedy, but I've invested in stocks and I've lost every penny also. It's a price that they're going to have to pay if we're investing in bank stocks and companies that they didn't thoroughly investigate. And here's how we solve the problem. We shut the doors. I don't want to use the word nationalization. We just take them over. They're already nationalized. We already own, we've already put more tax money in these big banks to make us majority shareholders. So in fact, we own them. As owners, we need to fire the people that ruin these banks. We need to clean out all top management, run want ads in the newspapers, or do whatever we have to do to hire good people back in to make it right the next time. We have to institute immediately a reduction in principal. On every loan out there, President Obama needs to sign an executive order, and that order reads, we're going to restructure every loan. The interest rate will be by national command, 4%. Every loan will be 30 years. The principals will be reduced. The principal balances due will be reduced until they actually reflect the appraised value of the home on the street. So if the home's lost $40,000, we automatically reduce the principal by $40,000. The interest rate is 4%. There's only one loan that's going to be allowed. It will be a 30-year fixed loan, legislated at 4%. 1/2 of every payment goes to interest. 1/2 of every payment goes to principal. Period. End of story. That's national law, folks. If you don't like it, you should never have taken taxpayer money. The next thing we have to do is get honest money in this country. We have to create a fourth branch of government called the money branch. We have to put the Department of the Federal Reserve under the Department of Treasury. We have to recall all the federal notes and have a barn burning. We need to burn them all at the foot of the Capitol. Tens of millions of us need to show up and burn these Federal Reserve notes and reissue, and I've already given you the formula for reissuing the new currency. Go back to some of my early videos. We're going to put the Department of the Federal Reserve under the Department of Treasury. We're going to nationalize these banks, kick the idiots out who've raped the American people. Unfortunately, the shareholders are going to suffer. Maybe we can give some kind of gift to them as a people. I don't know that they deserve it. They made some bad choices, but whatever. I can't help it. We're sorry you bought stock in the wrong bank, okay? So anyway, that's a problem, but it's one that they're going to have to live with. Now, I've also come together in the Glorious National Party with a method where you can take $300 and using the current corrupt currency come out of debt and put your family into a position of earning $100,000 or $200,000 in income, hopefully payable in new United States dollars, no Federal Reserve notes, and also form a political party in doing this that will give you enough power to elect the representatives of the future who will give us the new currency and the new nation that we deserve. If you have any questions, please give me a call at 1-877-365-0042. This is Richard Peter, the founding member of the Glorious National Party. Thank you. Until later.